Advanced spinal anatomy. So we've got a little bit of a close-up of the lumbar spine. We have 3 lumbar vertebrae here. We can tell that it's a lumbar vertebrae, or that these are 3 lumbar vertebrae. One, because of this kind of kidney bean shape to the vertebral bodies, or these front aspects of the spine here. And then we can also see these nice rounded spinous processes as well. And these are both characteristic of the lumbar spine. The lumbar spine vertebral bodies and vertebrae in general are the largest of the whole body because of the nature of their weight-bearing capacity. So as we go upwards in the spine, like in the cervical spine, we actually see quite small vertebral bodies because we don't have to weight bear quite as much in that region as we do in the lumbar spine. So if we take a closer look here, we just talked about some of the front aspect, or the vertebral body, and then we start going backwards. So this connection between the vertebral body and then some of the more posterior elements of the spine are the pedicles. So this guy right here is the pedicle, and then we have a couple of different processes. So we have the transverse processes, which orient outwards in the transverse plane. And then we also have the spinous process, which shoots straight backwards in the sagittal plane. So then we have a couple of different articular facets. So we have 2 superior articular facets here, and then 2 inferior articular facets here. So another interesting thing that separates the lumbar spine from different areas of the spine are that the articular facets are oriented in the sagittal plane. So if we were up and we were at the T12 vertebrae, we would actually see the superior articular facets oriented in the coronal plane, and then the inferior articular facets, where we go into the lumbar spine, would be oriented in the sagittal plane. So that's one really interesting component there. We can see these yellow rubber guys right here, and these represent the nerves. So basically where our nerves come out of our spinal cord, exit this vertebral canal here, and then go into the periphery, or the rest of our body. This is called the intervertebral foramen. And we can see that the intervertebral foramen is composed of the inferior aspect of the pedicle above, and then the superior aspect of the pedicle below. So inferior is the bottom, and then superior is the top. So we can see that there are 2 components to that intervertebral foramen, and this can actually be manipulated and adjusted by the positioning of our vertebrae. So you may be wondering, what are these kind of clear little bits in between these vertebral bodies? And these are our intervertebral discs. What they do is they connect the different vertebrae with a fibrous portion, that is the annulus fibrosus, and then an inner portion that is a watery toothpaste consistency substance called the nucleus pulposus. And these are really important structures because they allow us to be a little bit more mobile here. And these don't seem like it here, but they actually comprise about 1/4 of the length of our entire spine. So that's one interesting portion. We actually can change in height overnight because that nucleus pulposus will fill up a little bit more with water because we don't have the activity of walking around and imbibing the disc with fluid throughout the day. So imbibation is basically the contraction and detraction of the spinous processes together. So when we lay flat, what happens is our discs can fill up with water, and then we actually have a little bit of an increased intervertebral disc height, which gives us approximately 1 to 2 inches of height after a long night's rest. And then throughout the day, it'll go down because of that natural process of getting water and fluid and nutrients in and out of our vertebral column. So that's a little rundown of the lumbar spine.